Coast
boy.
You know.
What is doing? Orthodox.
His range here tonight, huh? Nice jab.
What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy Chopper Slice, and you are now rocking with Coach Boy TV Fights. You know, aka Choppin' Tosh Entertainments, baby. Man, I've been absent for a while, dealing with family issues and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sorry, guys. I'm backed up on creative fighters, and I want to start off by saying rest in peace to Leon Spinks. He passed away. Leon Spinks deserves to be called one of the greatest boxers, man, to ever do it, man. You know, he might not have been the greatest boxer in the world. You know what I'm saying? Leon Spinks wasn't the best at everything, but he was damn sure good at almost everything. You know what I mean? He was one of those fighters. He was good at everything, wasn't the best at everything, but he was good at everything. So, you know. And Michael Peterson, I will get Leon Spinks to you. I am so sorry, brother. I'm backed up on fighters. I'm running out of space. I'm no excuse. I'm gonna get that to you, man. He'll be out by tomorrow. I promise you. I'm gonna start working on him tonight. I've been supposed to have Leon Spinks out. So yeah, we have Marvelous Marvin Hagler. My man also has him, and I'll share his too. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I don't feel in my heart that I've done a good job on this. I just couldn't seem to find the right head style, you know, the head structure. I tried to make it as close to Hagler's head as I could. Even the ears, man. Hagler's got pointy ears at the tip, man, and I, you know, couldn't even find those. But hey, I did the best I could. I'm doing what I got. I was actually stuck on him for about 3 days, man. I told my man Danny P, I said, yo, I can't figure out. He said, you know what? You do Leon Spinks and I'll do Hagler. I said, all right. Well, me being stubborn, and I'm not a quitter, I still stayed on Hagler, you know what I mean? And but here it is, man. Here he is. Middleweight, you know, Hagler has a pressure style that he could use. He was a brawler as well, but he also showed in the Leonard fight that he could box. And that's what this Hagler is based off of, the Sugar Ray Leonard fight. So I chose Powerhouse, in which I honestly, personally feel Leonard is one of my favorite fighters. Don't get it wrong. If not, he's my favorite fighter. My #1 favorite fighter, honestly. But I feel personally that Leonard shouldn't have got that fight. Now, don't get it wrong. It was a dog fight. It was very close. And I'm not going to say Leonard lost the fight by a mile, because he didn't. But he shouldn't have won it. Hagler, for many different reasons why I feel that way. But we'll get into that. Let's get to the general. Now, Hagler weighs $168 through $169. So, but that's middleweight in boxing, and the UFC, it's welterweight. So I don't know. I might take him back down to welterweight. But I'm probably gonna leave him at $175. I want him to fight middleweight. You know, put him up against Adesanya and things like that. They say Marvin Hagler was 5'9.5". Some say he was 5'9" flat. Some say he was 5'10". I chose 5'10". I usually always do an inch taller on my fighters anyway, for reach reasons. They don't have Marvelous on here, so I went with Magnifico. So we're gonna call him Magnifico Marvin Hagler for the UFC. Marvelous on his social media handle, Marvelous Marvin. He was born in Newark, New Jersey, which is the hood, straight hood. But his family moved him to Brockton, so it's maybe a good thing that Marvin didn't come up in Newark. You know what I mean? Even though Brockton, don't get it wrong, you know, I mean, you might not hear too many horrible things come out of Brockton, but they got there. They tough. It's a tough city. He was 30. This is based off the Leonard fight. I think I've said that once, but he was 32 when he fought Leonard. Now, I had this part wrong, and as much studying as I've done on Marvin Hagler throughout the years, I couldn't believe I had this wrong. I thought Hagler was a natural orthodox fighter, right hand, and trained himself to also fight southpaw. He switched stances. He was a switch stance fighter. But I was wrong. He's a natural southpaw, it said, and he trained himself to fight right-handed too. Like on Fight Night Champion, he would come out in some fights that you would choose him as, he would come out left. Some fights he would come out right if you pay attention. Now the fight stance, I feel this was the closest to his fight stance, because Hagler stayed on his toes and he always kept his hands up. Sometimes he would come out flat-footed and bob and weave his head like Joe Frazier would. This is the one I chose for Frazier. Sometimes he would fight like that. And he was a brawler. He could box. He could bang. Brawling and banging is two different things to me. Bang, you stand in the pocket and you box with harder punches. You throw, you're banging. Brawling, head, using your head, you know what I'm saying, you're out there, you're sweating on each other, bleeding on each other, you're using your head to run into your opponent, and things like that. Brawling's more of what's his name, Duran. But that's just my opinion. But I chose Corey Anderson's fighting style, fighting stance for Hagler. I feel that was Hagler's type of style right there. Alright, let's get to the hair. And by the way, shout outs to my man 8-0, man. Thank you for trying to help me. I did go ahead and stick with my own template, being because I couldn't get the nose where I needed it to be. I would have loved to use template 4, man. I just seemed I couldn't get his nose where I wanted it, man. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just use the template I got. So, but hairstyle 6. Now Hagler was a complete bald-headed guy. Point blank period. Now template 6 is what I used. Not template, excuse me. Hairstyle 6 is what I used. And if you could really look closely, now somebody with HDMI cords or that would have a better graphic TV or anything than I would have, it could might tell like superly. But he has a little bit of scruff on his head. To me, you know, y'all know how I am. I always feel like that's kind of realistic. I would recommend you go with hairstyle 1. He was completely bald, but I just decided to use that one. I don't know why. I just did. I might go ahead and just change it. It's hairstyle 1. Now eyebrows, you could either go with 5, 11, or 2, but I went with 3. But I'll be honest, 2 is closer in a way, but I went with 3. Facial hair, now they don't have his exact facial hair on here, so hold on. Sorry about that, cuz. But yeah, they don't have his exact facial hairstyle on here, not that I know of. But his facial hair, he didn't just have like a goatee like that. I mean, he had hair to come kind of prickle out, like, you know, like talking about, you see. So it was sort of like that. I need to fix his chin, man. But I went with facial hair 6. And I don't think Hagler had body hair like that, but you know, he was a manly man, so I think he may have had like a little bit of scruff on his chest, I believe. I seen in some amateur fights that he or early pro fights that he may have had, it looked like he had a little scruff on him. But I went ahead and went with body hair 4 just to be on the safe side. Now I went with template 17. My man told me to go, he would personally go with template 4, but that was a little rough for me to start on. So I went with 17, and I should have maybe went with 4, but that's the one I went with. Let me do the 8-0 360. There we go. Just copy down. And I see some changes already that I need to make. But yeah, man. On the Leonard fight, I really feel like I feel like they should have gave it to Hagler for many different reasons, for a couple different reasons actually. I do think that Leonard may have won the first 5 rounds, maybe the first 4, but definitely the first 5 probably. The first half of the fight you could say, but he definitely won the first 4, and he outboxed Hagler. But once Hagler adjusted, he started to show that he could box too, and everything Leonard done, Hagler done, and what made them to start off, what made them two such a great matchup, and my girl said this too, they were better at the opposites of each other. Like what Sugar Ray was good at, Hagler wasn't, and what Hagler was good at, Sugar Ray wasn't, and it just made the fight. And both of those guys on their weakest points proved that they could do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what made the fight. But Hagler, he had earned hard to get where he were. Blah, blah, blah. He had earned very hard to get where he was, and things like that, man. And Leonard has accomplished already what Hagler was accomplishing, and he came out of retirement and fought Hagler. Hagler didn't have to take the fight. He did anyway, which makes him being the warrior that he, is. He did not have to take that fight, but he did. I need to take his chin down a little bit, make it a little longer. Just a little. I'll just stay about 75. I'll keep it there. Yeah, about right there. But and maybe just back on this a little bit. Sorry guys, I'm just checking something out. Yeah, we're gonna leave his lips about right there. And maybe I can thicken out the lips a little bit. I'm gonna restart it from the beginning. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to make you get off track here. But yeah, what Hagler was good at, Leonard wasn't, and what Leonard was good at, Hagler wasn't. But like I said, Leonard had already accomplished what Hagler was just now starting to accomplish. You know what I mean? What Hagler was accomplishing. Leonard has already had that. Stardom, champion, everything, man. And I feel like they robbed Hagler. The reason being, from a business aspect, they should have gave it to Hagler, because it was so close of a fight. It wasn't like Leonard knocked Hagler out, and it wasn't like he completely dismantled him in that fight and completely controlled every aspect of the fight. Nah, it was a very close fight. And Hagler worked very hard to get where he was at. And I feel like, that should have been another reason for the judges to lean more towards Hagler. But I see why they may have gave it to Leonard, because Leonard, he was doubted horribly in that fight, that people thought he would get hurt. And he came out of retirement and fought brilliantly. So I see why they may have wanted to give it to Leonard. But what about Hagler? What about everything he has accomplished? What about all his hard work? You know what I mean? And Hagler, honestly, in my opinion, won more rounds than Leonard did. I say Hagler won 2 more rounds than Leonard. Maybe 1, but I think 2. Definitely 1 more round than Leonard won, but I think 2. Being because Leonard started to gas out a little bit more, and it was probably due to inactivity. But then he just popped out of nowhere, man. He just popped out of nowhere with a beautiful, all right, I'm coming, with a beautiful flurry, man, and managed to keep his stamina going. By the 6th, Leonard was starting to die out a little bit, and Hagler was on him. Leonard was fighting off hard. Now both of those guys end up getting to that point. There was a point that Leonard had Hagler hurt a little bit and gassed, and Hagler had an iron chin. So knocking Hagler out, I'm not going to say Leonard couldn't have done it, but most likely that wasn't going to happen in Hagler's mind. But not saying Leonard couldn't have done it, because Leonard, Sugar Ray Leonard, he's Superman to me in the boxing world. So, but yeah, man, I'm just saying, like, I feel like the judges might have been a little bit biased. Now I could be wrong, but I feel they were. I feel like they robbed Hagler. I feel like Hagler should have got that fight, not only because I feel like he won 1 or 2 rounds more than Leonard, and he also adjusted to a fighting style that he didn't even normally fight at, and that was boxing and being technical. He proved that he could do that in that fight, and Leonard proved that he could actually brawl and, and maul. He proved that already though when he fought Duran. So Leonard took a very disappointing loss too, before in his career. So I'm not saying that I'm not saying that Leonard hasn't experienced that. I understand that, but you got to think, man. From the business aspect of it, Hagler was working hard to get where he was. He in my opinion, he already had won a couple. I'm gonna go back through this while I'm talking. He won a couple more rounds more than Leonard. Leonard hung in there. It was a beautiful fight. It was a dog fight, but it was very close. It was one of those fights. It kind of does leave you with a blank. You know what I mean? And so that's 2 reasons. I feel he won a couple more rounds more than Leonard. Definitely 1 more round more than Leonard. And he worked very hard to get where he was, and he didn't get knocked out. And he turned the fight around. And he adjusted to a style that he wasn't used to in certain parts of the fight. And he carried it out like a champ. Now, Leonard, I do understand in a 10th way of why they would give it to Leonard. You know what I'm saying? Leonard was making Hagler miss. Leonard was tagging, and he was with a counter shot in Hagler a lot. He was doing his thing. Leonard was doing his thing. He was working. So I could see why they would give it to him, but I don't know. I feel like they were a little bit biased, and I feel like it was too close to really say Leonard had dominated the fight. So that was out. That should have been out of the window. It should have been broken down to, okay, let's look at these guys' resumes. And I know some of y'all are probably thinking, well, dang, that ain't what this is about. It's about who won the fight. I understand. And that's the formula, guys. So I hope you guys I really do. But it should have been narrowed down. Okay, now let's look at these guys' resumes. Okay, Leonard has accomplished many of things, great things. He was an Olympian, gold medalist in '76 when he was 20, I think. He lost the first fight to Duran, which I disagreed with that, but I still understood why they gave it to Duran. But he got it back. And he accomplished so many great things. And Hagler was a middleweight. Leonard was naturally a welterweight. Okay, so Leonard comes out of retirement up to Hagler's weight class that he's been dominating, and he steals the belt from him, or not even steal the belt. He won the fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if it was for a championship. It might have been. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I don't know, man. I just think Hagler really, really won that fight. I think he won that fight. And yeah, I think it was for the middleweight championship. So I feel like they robbed him. If they didn't think Hagler won the fight, they should at least looked at the resumes and looked at, okay, Leonard came out of retirement. He put up a great enough fight to give him props. You see what I'm saying? I just feel like it was kind of greedy of the judges and sort of greedy of Leonard. I don't know. But it was just, I don't know. Hagler should have got that fight, man. It either should have been a draw or went to Hagler by split decision. I don't think Ray Leonard won that fight by unanimous decision, because it was too close to call. It should have been a draw. If you don't want to, okay, if you think both men worked very hard in that fight, which I do, and Sugar Ray came out of retirement due to being inactive for a while, and he renounced his retirement a few times. Came out of retirement. He worked hard to train. He came back. He put up the greatest fight, one of the greatest fights that we had ever saw. Was Hagler and Leonard. Hagler worked hard to get the belt, and worked hard in that fight. Okay, you should at least narrow it down to this. Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. if you didn't want to say Leonard lost it because of those reasons too, then make it a draw, man. But I don't know, man. I just don't think Leonard I don't think Leonard got that fight. I really don't. I think he fought great. It was I was a fan favorite of him too in that fight. But I felt like it should have been ruled the other way, or either a draw. A draw wouldn't have hurt nothing. You know what I'm saying? That completely robbed. I feel like they robbed Hagler a little bit, and he felt that way. But hey, it happened. Hagler still today, as well as Leonard, is one of the greatest. And it was an honor doing Hagler. Now I need to do. Stay tuned to my next one. We got Leon Spinks coming. I hope you guys liked it, man. Like I said, I felt like I could have done a better job. I don't know. But I was stuck on it for a few days, and I decided to go ahead and just get it out for you. Let's move on. Now to the tattoos. Alright, we started with Arizumi 3, right? And that's what we did the beard on. Arizumi 3, we just outlined the chin strap a few times. You know, as many times as you like. I don't even know why I done it that many times. But you know, go around the sides, make it even, and do his goatee. Do it on both sides, Arizumi 3. And you know, whatever you guys would want to use. But I felt like once I evened up the goatee and stuff, it looked decent. And once I really look at it, man, I feel like it looks okay. I think his eyes, something about Hagler's eyes could have been, I don't know, they're a little more far apart or something. But the blurs, I used it for like the creases in crease in his forehead. I need to do one right there too. I'm about to show you guys. I used the purple one and blended it out right there on the side of his face right there. And then one under his eye. And then the other one under his eye. I don't know why I did different colors. And then one right there. I had a hard time with the smile lines too. I'm gonna go back and redo those as well. But that's it. And I gave him, you know, one of the little belts right there. So, which I'm gonna go back and mess with. And I didn't do that right. I'm gonna go back and mess with that. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and mess with that. Let me see. We can do this right here. God, my controller is a little damaged. Excuse my controller, guys. But y'all probably know what I'm about to do. I'm gonna make my little belt right here. And I'm gonna try to make it as best as I can. It's all screwed up right now. Ah, it's making me mad, man. My controller. Yeah, leave it right there. Alright. Let's line her up. Let's see. Yeah, about right there. Alright. And I'm going to go back and look at this, man, and see what I can do different. Line it up about right there. I love doing that. I don't know why. But that's all for the... Oh, I need to do one in the back. And don't worry, guys. I'm going to get it together. I've been inactive. Like I said, man, I've been going through some family things as well. And I've just been lazy the past couple days. But I'm gonna get it back together and start coming out with those fighters, man. I apologize to you guys that I've been a little bit on the lazy side. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. And Michael Peterson, I promise you, my man, I'm getting that Leon Spinks out to you. Do not count me out. Do not count me out. Do not count me out. Need that right there. Maybe I can use a couple more smile lines on there as well. See, I want to mess with this one a little bit more, man, but I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to be able to tell and be able to like tell that I got black on there. But I'm y'all see the smile line I'm trying to make, right? I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it. But that's it for him right here, man. He looks pretty good. I mean, I think he looks good. I in the eyes, brown. He has dark brown eyes. So, body type, y'all know what I say. It's up to y'all. But I went with 5. If you're gonna choose one, 10, 5, 4, 7, or 8. But I went with 5, man. That's more like Hagler right there. And this is Hagler. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for stopping by, and like I said, I apologize for being late, guys. I'll be back. Stay tuned for Leon Spinks. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. But stay tuned for Leon Spinks, and I'm gonna get more to y'all. And we're going. Oh yeah, let me get on it. Hold on for the clothing. Let me. They added some new things too. By the way, shout out to EA Sports, man. I appreciate you guys for adding more shorts and things like that, man. More boxing shorts. I dig it. They added some Strike Force shorts. But in the fight with Leonard Hagler had see, kind of like that without the gold. If it was baby blue with it. I might change up the shorts a little later if I can go back and see. But Hagler had on like baby blue / navy shorts. So the closest I found for that, I went with the striped blue board shorts. I went with those. Of course, you know, back in the day they were a little shorter, boxing shorts, and I went with the Strike Force red gloves. Him and Sugar Ray fought with red gloves, so I went with the Strike Force red. Mouth guard, I gave it the fangs. But this is him, man. And it's based off the fight with Leonard. And I hope you guys enjoy. And y'all have a blessed day, man. Till next time. You know.
Coast boy. You know.